Welcome back, guys. Let me show you guys how last week really kicked off on Nasdaq trade. So far, last week was a very good week and also a bad week for most of traders, because I would say that when is you're winning and when others are also losing. Let me quickly show you guys how last week really went through, and I'm also going to do some back tests and also show you guys how I find most of my winning setups. So really quick on NAS, I'm on 4 hours here, and here is mostly lower time frame, which is my 5 minutes time frame, because I trade only on 2 time frame, 4 hours and 5 minutes time frame. So most of the time what I do is to just open up a 2 window, launch my 4 hours chart here, and also launch my 5 minutes 5 minutes time frame here. I use my 4 hours to do most of my long time bias or long time analysis or long time daily analysis, and then I use my 5 minutes time frame for execution. When I'm entering a buy or a sell trade on a lower time frame, I'm going to my 5 minutes to take that trade. I don't switch over. Alright, so if you look wise, you'll see that we are on all-time highs on NAS. NAS just broke a daily structure which lead price to start going up. So now I've already done the analysis. I'll explain what I did here. So without not telling you, we have what we call a break of structure and a recent high. When price is going uptrend, price is creating mostly higher highs, lower highs. And let me show you guys, if you're a beginner and you want to learn how to move around and how to find your ways on the market, this is what you do, and this is how you do a simple analysis without not complicating most of your concept which you have learned. So really quick, I'll show you guys when I'm saying that price is going uptrend. We have these previous highs and we have this low. So I call these highs that was broken from here a break of structure, and then I call this low a protected low. So when price moves from a protected low to a recent high, it's called a break of structure, and I call here a my protected low, and which is here is a current high price is. So what I'm expecting on NAS, and I'll say what everybody is expecting from NAS, because you cannot just be buying from this point. When price is going higher highs, higher low, all you look to buy is to make sure you buy at a premium discount price. So mostly the premium discount price are coming from mostly from a 50% level or 61.8 level before price can continue going up. You get? So this is just like a simple beginner guide. I just teach you one of the simplest, I'll not call it the simplest, but this is one of the craziest concepts. If you know this that I just taught you on this video, you can literally trade any pair of your choice. Get? Oh, right. So what you're going to do is to, once you have already know that we found a level of discount or a level of premium discount price, what you're going to do is to look for look for confluence zones. So what do I look for confluence zone? Mostly when I'm trading in Nasdaq, I know that Nasdaq doesn't respect demand and supply zone. So what I literally find is my FVG zones, my fair value gap zones, because price will always come to fill those fair value gap zones before going to the uptrend. So if I have a FVG zones below any supply or demand zone, I'll mostly make sure that I don't take trades on those demand zones if I'm looking for a buy. Then if I'm looking for a sell, I'll make sure that I'll not take those trades on supply zones. I'll always wait for price to fill my fair value gaps, and fair value gaps are momentum candles that surpass a recent week low and a recent week highs. So what we do is to mark it from the week lows to the current week highs. Then we call this a FVG. So what I'm going to wait for this week is to wait for a little retracement back to our 61.8. Then once we see any push or confirmation from this point, that's when I'm going to look for a buy setup. I'm going to look for a buy setup around this point. So this is my daily, or will I say this is my weekend analysis for Nasdaq. It's just simple. If you know this concept, that's why I told you, if you know this concept, this little concept, how to find your daily buyers or your daily sell or your daily retracement or whatever, just know how to mark out market structures. Once you learn how to mark out market structure and know when price is on a retracement point, and also know when price is at a premium point. Your premium point can be your golden zone. That's where you look for your buys most of the time. So what I'm going to do is to, when I see price approaching this level, I'll go to my 5 minutes time frame to look for setups. Setups that I'm going to look for is based on the daily setup, which means that it doesn't mean that I cannot also take sell when price open in the Monday. I can literally take sell from this point depending on the setup of the day. So that's why you really need to know that there's a difference between your strategy or your analysis. Your analysis is different from setup. So when you are doing analysis, know that your analysis is just like an overall idea or overall prediction of what you are looking for on that particular pair. You don't do analysis and then try to take the setup, try to take the trade based on your analysis. Analysis is different from setup. This is why most of the traders fail in the forex market, because they thought that they can just literally come to the chart and do a normal analysis and just take trades from there. Yeah, there is something that we call a bias and a bias analysis, and also a setup. Your strategy is a combination of your analysis and your setup is called your strategy. So on that two analysis, when you analyze from the weekend, as I did just right here in the video. I analyze from the weekend chart. Then what I'm going to the concept of setup comes from the daily entries. Your daily entries are your setups. When Monday market opens, and then I have some rules that I set, like mostly on Nasdaq. I don't take trades on London section times, and I only take trades on the New York section time. So I have reasons which I took trades, or I like taking trades on the New York section. That's one of my setups, because you cannot just come and take random setups in the chart. You have what you are targeting most of the time. So literally I'm going to kick off this pattern. Let me just remove my fib. Okay, I'll just remove this fib. Then I'll like to extend this fair value gap here. Then also I will remove this. So this is currently our current high that we're expecting. So what I'm going to do is to draw a kind of a pattern to tell myself that we are going to expect a buy from this zone. So if I want to send this signal from my Telegram group, I'll tell them that this is my weekend analysis on Nasdaq. This is what I'm expecting for the Nasdaq. Whereas you should be mindful that someone can send you analysis and you just want to, people don't understand it, because someone can just send you analysis doesn't mean that it's going to work out like that. You must be mindful of your setup. So the setup is what gave us confidence to take a particular trade. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to analyze or backtest what really happened in the Monday, trades that I took in the Monday. Mostly I'm going to do this on lower time frame, but before I do that on a lower time frame, I'm going to mark out a candlestick, London, New York candlesticks that I mostly trade. Okay, I'm done marking. I'm going to backtest from Monday. So when I go down to a lower time frame, this is also where I find my setups. Yes. So this is Monday because we have two section period section, which is also here. So this is Monday charts. So this is Monday charts, and I'm going to show you guys the trade I took on Monday and how the trade really went down, because I knew that on that Monday I took a buy trade on Monday. But I also going to show you what really happened on that setup. I took a buy trade at this point. I took a buy trade on NAS at this point. Then my stop loss was 50 p. Yeah, 50 p, which on my trades I normally target 1:3. 1:3. This 1:3, which the reward. So this trade last week, this trade was the I thought this trade was the only trade I took that last week, because I took this trade from around this point, which the trade really started moving to my direction, and after going to my direction they still came back to mitigate when I saw an SMT divergence from this point. That's when I confirmed the trade. I confirmed this trade from here because I normally use SMT divergence, which at this point the trade started going back to rejecting back to my position. Then at this point, what I did was I added another position from this point. Yeah, I added another position from this point, which was a very bad trade for me. Like, I would say that I wouldn't have added more positions. So what I did when I added position, since I saw an SMT diverging, I added position from that point. Then I had to, since I added positions, I had to also risk the same amount of risk I told myself that I'm going to be risking on a particular trade. So what I did was I still risked 250, because I normally risk 250. I had a 50k FTMO account that I normally trade, so I have to risk 25 pips stop loss. I have to adjust my stop loss from 50 pips stop loss to 25 pips stop loss based on the SMT that I saw from this area. So I thought that the trade is not actually going to cross this level, although it's not actually going to cross this level. So I adjust the stop loss to make sure that I'm in a very safe and tight trade, which the trade literally start going to my direction. I was pretty excited on the trade last week because my aim was to just make sure that I hit certain amount of profit, because most of the time I calculate my profit on percentage. Because when you are dealing with money, you have to make sure that you are calculating on a percentage level rather than calculating with money, because money revolves around psychology. Understand? Numbers revolves around psychology. Numbers can affect your emotions and psychology. So mostly on trades. Badly for me, unluckily for me, if I might say, the trades start coming back. So what I told myself, that I'm not going to break even on the trade. Because that would be a very silly thing that I'm going to do, to break even for them to come and tap me out and start going again. So what I did is that I left my stop loss at the origin, wasn't an origin zone, was like my adjustment level that I placed the stop. So mistakenly, it's not a mistake, they just came down, pushed the stop loss, reject back, came back again to mitigate, and created an SMT diverging, which I also saw here. then started pushing back to my profit, which was here was around 1:2. Around here I would have just broken even or collected my profit instead. So last week this was the trade I took on Monday, but let me check if I had any other trade. I don't think I took trade. I didn't took trade on Tuesday because I didn't really know what happened. Okay, I took trade on Wednesday. Yeah. Just that I didn't journal those trades. I took trade on Tuesday. Around this point. I took trade, but the trade I took on Tuesday, I just went off from those trades on a -$50 loss. I was supposed to be losing 250 on that trade. I just kicked off on -$50 around there because the trade started pushing down to my distance. Let me just put the position. Was around here, should be around here. Yes, I took the trade around this point. Then I was risking 50 pips. And also I was targeting 150. And this point. Then unluckily for me, last week was I don't really know what happened last week. Just like I traveled last week, so I wasn't in a very comfortable position to be taking trades, and also my power bank got spoiled, which I was like, my power bank got spoiled because I wasn't having a good power supply and that area. So I went to a charging center to charge my phone, and unluckily for me, I was rushing up to just that last week. I was just rushing. All my trade was in a rush. I was rushing trades to just take trades. I wasn't doing a good setup analysis for my trades. I knew the direction, but the problem was I was in a rush. I wasn't relaxed taking those trades most of the time. So what I did was I took the trade when I rushed to the charging center to collect my phone. I just rushed in, and then I saw this buy. I knew that yes, this is a flip zone buys reacting from this point. This is a flip zone sell reacting from this point. So I took the trade, and my invalidation was I didn't want to see the candle cross this London opening level. So unluckily for me, they crossed it the first time. I was still holding when they crossed it the first time. Then the second time they also crossed it and literally moved half away to my stop loss. Then I was like, okay, damn. Like I was fucked and cooked on that trade. So I was just holding up on the trade, and then I was waiting for a little pullback so that I can just kick off from the trade. So I got a pullback around this point, which I just closed the trade, and unluckily for me, the trade literally smashed my TP. So I didn't even look from that day. I didn't even look to the chart again. I was just closed up. I didn't even mind if the trade was a win trade because it's invalidated my kind of setup, my kind of flip zone setup. I don't want them to cross above my New York opening level. So that was the trade for the week. And then Wednesday, I didn't take trade on Wednesday, but Wednesday was good. If I were to take trade on Wednesday, I would take the trade around this point. That was the flip zone, because I won't going to be taking that trade around this point because it was my flip zone trade. Then my stop loss will be 50 pip, and my invalidational point is that I wouldn't want them to cross my London level, opening level. Then I would just target 150 at this point. Yeah, that was for Wednesday. And then this Thursday, I didn't even know what happened on Thursday. Thursday was also a flip zone trade. Yes, it was a flip zone trade, but I didn't take the trade. Flip zone trade, I didn't take the trade because they were out from my flip zone. I knew that the daily buyers was already a buy, but they were out from my entry points, which was around this point. So they tapped it, and then wasn't my timing, and I was just like kind of, I left the trade to just run get my entry was around this point. So Thursday I didn't took trade, then Friday I didn't still to trade on Friday. So that is my typical weekly analysis and backtest for last week. So this week I bought a new power bank. I bought a 30 mAh power bank. So what happened last week made me to just buy a new power bank. So I bought this power bank when I was coming back. This 30 mAh power bank I bought last week. I don't know where's the receipt. Let me just show you guys. Okay, I just gave the receipt. I bought the power bank. Just tell me how much they might be selling this power bank at your area. Although the receipt is not here with me, I would have shown you guys the receipt. Just comment down below and tell me how much they are selling the power bank at your area. Make sure you subscribe to the IP Boys FX.